Hello, everyone. Good evening to Intuitive Flame. So, again, as you're coming in, please go ahead and say hello and say where you're joining from. And then also, I'd love to hear who all did the 5 days to activating abundance challenge and what your results were as well. So, can't wait to hear from you. Can't wait to see what number you have picked and then also how it applies to you as well. So many of you entered, and it is going to be a fun evening. Looking forward to seeing you all. And again, if you can't join live and if you're watching the replay, go ahead and still chime in the comments and let everyone know. Same thing where you're joining from, and then also how the reading that we're doing tonight apply to you. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Again, if you are here, if you're joining, go ahead and say hi. And again, as far as the challenge is concerned, we're completed with the challenge. It was a lot of fun and so many breakthroughs and interesting stories, and loved participating in it with you. The group will still be open this week, and I have lots of activities still planned for this week, so I'm going to get into that in a little bit as well. And then, of course, biggest thing right now is that my brand new course, that is a beta course that I'm developing, is open at the moment until Saturday, the 22nd, so this coming Saturday. So you still have an opportunity to join as a founding member if you're interested in it. And it's going to be pretty amazing. So we already have beautiful women that have joined at this point, and I'm just so excited. So, hey, Belinda. Hi, Melissa from Tennessee. Awesome. So welcome. And again, let me know what number you picked when we're drawing the number, and then also how it applies to you as well. So just in case you don't know me, my name is Silke, and I'm an energy healer, spiritual teacher, artist, hypnotherapist. And at this point, my goal is to really help women along their soul path to transform their lives in the most magnificent way so they can flow with universal energy and thrive in their life. And I do this in multiple ways: in person, long distance, via Zoom calls, long distance without Zoom calls, and then, of course, also through my membership, Beauty Flourishing. And then, like I said, right now, the opportunity through my course, Awaken Your Life as well. Melissa, hi from California. Wonderful. Oh, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. So I am going to go ahead and get started. So if you have picked card number 1, then please go ahead and chime in and let me know. And again, if you want to just chime in as far as the 5 days to activating abundance challenge, if you've done it this week, then go ahead and let us know how that went for you as well. And if you're joining for the first time, please go ahead and just introduce yourself, and happy to have you here with us tonight. So intuitive play, card number 1. Okay, Melissa says she picked card number 1. Wonderful. So card number 1 tonight is self-expression. And these cards, by the way, are okay, now I have to think about what the cards are, but they're like from the woman. Let me look here real quick because I want to make sure I tell you here. So these are Women's Bodies, Women's Wisdom Healing cards from Christiane Northrup. So I love these cards because they go pretty deep as far as the feeling that you get from them, and really beautiful imagery. And I've had them for many years and love them because they're specifically designed for women as well, and really more about the idea of nurturance and nourishment for women. And of course, this is kind of what my passion is really for women, to honor ourselves and to honor that time for us and honor our self-nourishment. And so these cards really support this in beautiful ways. And Lorna, hi from Canada. Wow, welcome. So glad you're here. And yeah, let us know what card you picked as well. You can either do it anytime during the live, or you can specially announce it when I'm getting ready to draw the next card. And then again, how it applies to you as well. And so number 1 is self-expression, and it is imagine, allow. And I'm going to see if we can get it in focus here. So this card specifically, and I'm going to actually hold it up for another minute. If you look at the card here, she's kind of holding that fire in her hand. And so what this represents really is kind of that internal fire that we all have to be creative, to allow our own creativity to flow, to really connect in with it. So Lorna is saying, so hope there is a message for me. Okay, for sure. So Lorna, which number have you picked? Let us know. And this way we can see once your number comes up. So number one, Melissa, you said you have picked number one. So specifically self-expression, it's allowing, that solar plexus fire, it's allowing that creativity, and then of course also the sacral, which is our creative center, to really start to blossom, so connecting in with more the lower chakras and allowing the creativity, because many times, we're maybe afraid to fully express ourselves and express, that longing that's naturally stirring. Melissa says number two, awesome. So, that expression that's naturally stirring in us, and to really fully come out. And so this card is really meant to inspire you to allow your expressive energy, your creative force to fully blossom, to come out, and not to be not hold back, and then also of course take that time throughout the day and understand how important it is for you to tap into your creativity and into that self-expression, and play and be colorful and color outside of the lines. So if you felt in your life right now maybe that you've kind of held back as far as expressing yourself, maybe even expressing feelings and emotions that need to be released, this all kind of plays into that same thing, of creativity and allowing it to come forward. Because when you allow that self-expression to fully be released, then you can step into that next step of more coming in as well. And Melissa is saying that's what she's been working on today. That is so awesome. How wonderful. And so share what you've been doing today. So of course right now getting close to Christmas, holiday season, so we all should be creating in some form or shape, maybe decorating or doing something really beautiful. And even if it's just a simple thing as maybe creating a candle, or just lighting a candle and then putting a couple of things around. Of course, for me specifically, it's always the Advent season, because that's what I naturally grew up with in Germany. So for me, getting the 4 candles out for the Advent and then decorating that, that's always something that I enjoy doing. And I'm not really that fancy as far as doing a lot of decorating, but just a little bit to have something on the table. And that's really all it takes as far as self-expression. And I also want to share with you, so one of my favorite idols has always been Pippi Longstocking, because Pippi Longstocking really allowed that full self-expression to be released, and she never cared what anyone else was thinking. And so give yourself a little bit of that permission to not really worry about, well, if I do this or if I show these colors of mine, how is someone else going to think? But really allow that internal fire to be stirred, allow your creative centers to fully blossom, allow the colors in and out throughout, and express yourself in the most beautiful ways, because this is part of your soul blueprint, and you're meant to do this in your life. This is why we're here, is to really shine in all the different aspects that we are and not hide that. And let's see, I've been writing a lot today. I think I've made, oh my goodness, that is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. That's absolutely wonderful. And I wanted to read the affirmation for you, because again, I always create a specialized affirmation specifically for whatever card you have picked. And so what I wrote for self-expression, imagine, allow is, I give myself permission to express myself creatively in all aspects of my life, as I know this is a direct reflection of the blueprint of my soul. And I'm just going to have a sip of my tea here right now. Okay. So if you have picked number one, even if you're watching the replay, then please go ahead and let everyone know how that applies to you at this moment. So card number 2, who has picked card number 2? And I'm going to go ahead and get right into card number 2. So I know that Melissa said she had. So card number 2 is a little bit more challenging tonight, because card number 2 has to do with partnership and regroup. So this card here specifically is more if you have had challenging relationships in your life at the moment, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a partnership. And I'm just going to hold it up here for another minute. Okay. Hey, Joan, joining from British Columbia. And Melissa Ann saying me. Okay, wonderful. So if you have picked this card, then maybe there have been some challenging relationships, maybe even a challenging partnership that you have been working through. And this card absolutely confirms that you have to just give yourself permission, to allow yourself. Marcy, hey! And Marcy says she's picked number 2. Thanks for joining. And so sometimes, it's allowing yourself to give yourself permission to work through things and allow you that space and grace in it as well, to not necessarily have to decide right away or not have to judge right away, but try to see all aspects of a situation and then tune in, always tune in to your guidance, of course, and see what feels right for you. Give yourself that space and then see where it all lies. Sometimes allowing a little bit of time and also compassion for yourself and for the other person as well. And then seeing, how it all kind of fits together. And then sometimes, of course, it's healthier to walk away. Sometimes it's healthier to work things through and letting go and just knowing, whatever the outcome is, that as long as you just tune into yourself and allow the highest for you to take place, then this is really the most important thing that you can do for yourself. So again, if you've picked card number 2, and if this does apply to you, that you have maybe moved through some little bit rough patches in some relationships, maybe even a partnership, then just know that just allowing some space and tuning in, that's really the most important thing that you can do for yourself. And always honor yourself, know where your limits are and know where those boundaries should be drawn, or where you can open up more space in your heart as well to allow more in sometimes as well. And maybe, sometimes when we let the situations sit for a minute, then sometimes things do work out. And if they don't, again, then allow that space for yourself as well. So if you've picked card number 2 and this applies to you, then go ahead and if you want to chime in, then please go ahead and chime in on that end as well. And the affirmation that I wrote for this card here specifically, partnership regroup, is I allow space in and around me as I work through challenging relationships and give myself grace in the decision I make. And Melissa Ann is saying, wow, my boyfriend of 5 years suffered. Oh my gosh. Oh, Melissa Ann, I am so sorry to hear that. Oh. Let me send you some blessings here. My goodness. All the best to you. Let's see. Marcy's saying, my partner and I have been having a rough year. Oh, sending you love as well. I know, like I said, this card here, has been just a little bit more challenging. So, but I want to make sure that I honor whatever comes up. When I draw these cards, I really just pull intuitively to see what needs to come up for the reading specifically. And so I don't filter it and I don't judge it, but whatever needs to come up, is just present. And so I always trust that when you're tuning in and whatever you pick, because you have your guidance fully intact and your intuition, that whatever comes up for you is relevant. And so that's the same way that I draw the cards, where I just tune into my intuition and I intuitively pick out the cards that are meant to be there for the reading. The same with the crystals as well. So you are so welcome, Melissa Ann, and all the best to you. And now we're going to go ahead and get into card number 3. So if you've picked card number 3, then please go ahead and chime in. Let me know, let everyone know that you have. And so card number 3 is nurturance and self-care. And of course, again, this is one of my favorite toppings as well. As we're allowing, so this one here, because she has it like in multiple layers. So the card itself is nurture and self-care. And then when you look underneath it, then it says perfection, imperfection. And I will tell you the truth, this is something that I always work on as well, because I'm an artist. And so for me, I love having things just right. And I love things to look beautiful. And I love whatever I put out into the world to be just so, even perfect. And for me, that's always, again, that same thing of finding that balance of being okay sometimes to not necessarily have a total perfection in something that we do. And so allowing, again, more that space for ourselves and being okay with it, that can really help, be helpful as well. So this applies to me just as much as it applies to any of you who might have picked that card or who can relate to that. And Belinda says she picked number 3. So this specifically is about, accepting imperfections. So not only imperfections in what you're creating, but then also, and not only what you're putting out into the world, but then also, and more so, the imperfections in yourself, where many times, we might judge ourselves much harder than anything or anyone else. And so knowing that you have everything that you need inside of you and that it's okay, and nobody expects perfection from you. So releasing some of that and letting some of that go, kind of like on a gentle wave, to where you just allow and be okay with it. And a beautiful quick affirmation is when you say to yourself, I am love. So it's not even I love myself, because that's already a little bit roundabout. But when you just say, I am love, or also the mantra, Aham Prema, Aham Prema, this is I am love. So this is like the pure essence of everything. And this is who we are, because, hey, we are a child of God. And so, of course, we are. So being okay with not only who you are, where you are, but allowing that space and knowing, that you can merge with your blueprint and that it's all designed for you and it's all right there. Also, within that imperfection, also allowing the situations that might be there for you. So even if situations are not perfect, if people are not perfect, if you're not perfect, it's totally okay. And so not everything in our life is ever going to be just right, because that's just such an illusion that's been created for us, and it's just unrealistic. So allowing the mess, allowing the imperfections. And again, this is something I continuously keep embracing in my life as well. And, just giving yourself some of that leeway and giving others the leeway, and also your life in general, that it doesn't have to look perfect and that it can be a mess sometimes. And, the house can be somewhat of a disaster and it might still even be okay. So just, again, that grace that you give yourself, and not necessarily expecting always the highest from yourself and from others. That will by itself release so much for you. It'll release a lot of tension and a lot of anxiety in your body and in all your forms as well. So I see this so much as an energy healer, where people just store everything in their system, because it's still all kind of trapped in there. Because especially what I experienced, since I work primarily with women, is we expect so much out of ourselves, and we try to hold it together for ourselves and everyone else. So again, just give yourself some room and allow the imperfections of your life to be okay. So bringing it all together. So tonight we had self-expression, imagine, allow. Oh, I'm sorry, I need to read the affirmation to you. So the affirmation that I created for this, specifically for nurture and self-care, perfection versus imperfection, is I love myself completely and fully in all I am, knowing that I am divinity in physical form. So I hope this helps you in all ways. And so bringing it together, so we had the self-expressive part here, where you allow yourself to express yourself in all your colors, in all your forms, and then make some room for yourself and for others within partnerships, within relationships. And again, it all flows together as far as the perfection and the imperfection and the creative energies behind it, and the allowing as well. So these are really beautiful how they flow together tonight. Overall, as a theme for your life, for my life, for all of our lives, to just sit in that space more, and just kind of be held within it without needing to expect something or for some specific turnout, to be in a certain situation. So I hope this is really helpful for you tonight. And then, of course, the full moon is going to be on the 22nd. So this coming Saturday, the close of my of the opportunity for you to join my membership, not membership, I'm sorry, my course, Awaken Your Life. And then for the 30-minute session with me, so this is anytime that you share anything of mine and we can see where you shared, you're automatically entered into a drawing, and you can always just write that you shared as well. So we'll keep track of it. And since there's going to be the Christmas week, there won't be a Facebook Live next week, but the drawing will be on the 2nd, on January 2nd. So we're going to go ahead and do a drawing, and that's for a 30-minute session with me, where I do a numerology reading for you. And then, of course, like I said, my course, Awaken Your Life, is open right now. And it is a course in conscious manifestation. So if you've been thinking about joining it, I do want to tell you that I've listened, because several of you have messaged me. Actually, quite a lot of you have messaged me asking if there could be more extended payment plans for it. And I will go ahead and we already changed it on our website today, by the way, on the course page by itself. And so yeah, there are more extended payment plans available now that you can tap into. And then also we did another, oh, Melissa, you're welcome. We also added another bonus as well for everyone who joins the course and anyone who has already joined the course, which we're also going to do a guest expert highlights wheel at the end of the course with all the guest experts that are part of the deep immersion. But this way you also get a little bit of that benefit as well if you're joining the Awaken Your Life self-guided version as well. And so hope you guys join, because it's going to be amazing. It's going to be such an amazing journey that you can give yourself for the next 3 months and join this with me and all these beautiful women who have already joined. So would love to have you, because the more the merrier, because we are creating together for the first time, this vibrant group, and you get lifetime access to it at a really wonderful rate at this moment. And it's going to be quite a bit higher when I open the course again. So hope that you guys still consider joining. By the way, tomorrow evening, I'm going to do a behind the scenes on it, but don't let that stop you if you're ready to join now. And then, of course, because on Friday is the winter solstice, so Friday the 21st at 7 p.m. I'm going to go ahead and do a live celebration here for the winter solstice. And 2 of my students, friends, clients are going to come on to share their transformational journeys as well. And I'm also going to do a meditation toward the end of it as well. That's going to raise the light, because to me, there's nothing greater than being able to use this space that's available here, this internet space, to do positive things. So anything from me will always be positive going out, because that's my intention. There's so much stuff going on in the world and so many things that we're bombarded with and see in the news. And so when you're coming into my space, which this here is my home, so when you're joining me in my home, then you can always expect beauty and you can always expect wonderful things. And so I carry this here in the public domain, as well as more private than in my courses and through my membership as well. So this is the expectation that you can have from me and of me. And I always give more than I possibly receive, because to me, it's all about giving back to all of you, because I'm just so grateful to be able to hold space with you and be there with you as well. So Liberata, hi. Okay, awesome. Hey, you didn't miss it. You're still here. So it's good to see you. Yeah, so I love sharing space with all of you. And for me, like I said, just all of you amazing women who participate and who are there. Again, for me, it's just such an honor to, oh, awesome. Heather, hi, by the way. Good to see you. So for me, it's just such an honor to be in the space with you, because you're all just amazing women and you all do tremendous, beautiful things on this planet. And again, just holding space for you, with you, and being in these spaces with you is just absolutely beautiful. So the more we can do together, the more of us that can hold the space, and the more of us that can transform for ourselves, and then of course bring that back into our lives. Give that gift to yourself and allow yourself the space that you need in order to nurture and nourish yourself. There's nothing more important than that, because then you can give more of yourself and of that true essence of yourself in a much more beautiful, co-creative way with everyone else. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and I wish you all a beautiful evening. Have a good night. Marcy, you're welcome. And I will see you all tomorrow if you're interested in seeing a little bit behind the scenes, in case you're curious about what Awaken Your Life is about and you haven't joined yet because maybe you want to see a little bit of what's going on. Like I said, it is a beta course, so I'm still developing it, but at the same time, I also can show you some behind the scenes too, of some of the modules and what it looks like, because you might not have an idea of what that looks like. And so if you're curious, join me tomorrow evening, and definitely join me Friday, the 21st, for the winter solstice celebration. And let's all raise the light. Let's all hold the highest vibration that we can and shift this planet into the most beautiful space. All right. You all have a good night. Joan, you're so welcome. And hi, by the way, good to see you. So good night. Thank you for being here. Namaste.